nose, hold it, and then out. Very good. Are you recording? Because I mean, I can always take off the intro and stuff. Okay, so Josh, you're going to probably either need to be on the outside because I guarantee you we'll be able to see you from here.
They see your purple.
Yeah, I can see your purple.
Oh, I need to be on the outside.
Yeah.
No, just duck.
No, he needs to be on the outside.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if you're watching the door and somebody opens it, it's like already too late.
Yeah.
Sorry, Josh. Hey, you're going to get one of these. You need to learn how to be a team player.
Loser.
I want my hands on the table.
All right.
Yeah, it makes me feel like.
All right, so here we are, and this is just one of our little sessions I'm going to have with every one of our teams at some point. This is Sierra. This is Karen. And we have some interesting stuff that we've been talking about on our Wednesday nights, and we titled our series, What's Wrong with That Idea? Now, I want to take just a few minutes to let y'all just kind of expand on that, because the idea really came from the book that y'all are reading. Now, what's the name of this book?
The Art of Racing in the Rain.
Okay, and who wrote this book?
Go ahead. Who wrote this book? Garth Stein.
There we go. Very good. And so it got to a point in one of the paragraphs, and I believe it was you that showed me, and the question asked, went through this long laundry list of propositions, worldview propositions, and it says, what's wrong with this idea? So let me ask you first, what are some of the propositions, the things that they're saying, the things that they're trying to get you to believe in this book?
Basically that, spiritualism and, the physical body are the exact same thing, like the whole scientific and spiritual things just go together completely. And then even the whole book even starts talking about, it kind of makes you want to believe in reincarnation, just that whole idea.
Okay, so let me ask you now. Is this something where it blends a few different types of religion, or is it stick on one? It's kind of a certain way, or no clear?
It blends science with spiritualism, and there isn't an exact religion because it doesn't really touch on anything. But the whole thing was we spoke to him today, and he said that he got the idea of the book from a documentary from Mongolia, that the people believed that when their dogs died, they could be reincarnated.
I see.
And so he was like, well, I want to write from a dog's perspective. But then, so I was like, well, this is interesting. And then somebody else asked a question, was most of what you wrote in the book based on your views, or was it just the character's views? Which, again, if it's from Enzo's view, then it's from the Mongolian reincarnation whole theory and everything. So I asked him if it was his view or not, and he kind of starts stuttering. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, why? You should be, you're a writer, you know how to speak. You should be able to counter me right away or answer me. But then he goes around in circles, and then he finally says, well, I believe we should all respect each other's beliefs. Yes, the way I believe in God and the way you might believe in God might be different, and
right.
This is how the world works. And then he goes, okay, to answer you, yes, I do believe in reincarnation, and yes, I do believe that in spiritualism and science can be one. And I'm like, well, you can't really have that because it's a contradiction. Science, deals with tangibility, while spiritualism is more not. It's like the opposite.
Okay. So let me ask this question: when it came to, and y'all tell me y'all's impression here, when it comes to the science and the faith realm, or the science and the spirituality, is it almost like you have to live this life in this box, where you're spiritual over here, but this box doesn't work with the science over here? Or what did I say? Did I say spiritual and science? I mean, does it seem like you have to be in two different boxes here?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Please.
I think we're both on the same.
Go ahead.
I don't really know how to say it. Go ahead.
Come on, you have to speak.
I am speaking. Go ahead.
Well, with the way the book places it tries to merge them. Like throughout the whole book, Enzo wants to be a human being at the end of the book. He's looking forward to being reincarnated, but the way it puts it tries to make you believe it can happen, but it can't.
I guess my question is, where does the science come in on this? Because it's one thing to sit here and say that you have, can't we have spiritualism and science, which I think Christianity, there's some good discussion that can be had there. But just as far as this book, where is the science here?
I mean, he was talking about the science, I believe he meant the whole evolution idea, like how dogs don't have hands or they weren't given hands.
Spoke a lot about
Opposable thumbs.
thumbs.
And that was basically, you know, one of the arguments on the page that I had showed you. He was making the argument, you know, why couldn't dogs have hands, opposable thumbs, which.
So how does he? And of course, we know we don't teach evolution here at the church, obviously.
Yeah.
But how does that have to do with anything when it has to come with reincarnation? We're talking about two different things. We're not talking about evolving. We're talking about reincarnating into another being.
I guess at one point, the science part, he speaks of why should monkeys have thumbs? Why, you know, or something like related to that. But he's like, dogs are more related to human beings than other animals. And he says at night, or Teen Wolf, like he uses that as an example, like all these movies,
He
like
said Teen Wolf?
yeah,
Like
Teen
the movie,
Wolf.
like out of the 80s?
Yes, and he says at night the moon or whatever, people like howl at the they turn into the beast and werewolf and they howl at the moon. But it's like, well, the dog is related to the wolf. It's in the same, you know, kind of line. So if anything,
So his
human beings
basis for
should
making
have-
a case is a bad 80s movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was
Wow, very
like,
interesting.
people turn into werewolves, not weremonkeys.
Yeah,
And
not
they-
weremonkeys.
So here's my, and that has to do all with mythicism,
Yeah.
mythological character. Wow, really? Okay, so here's my question. Now, to clarify, you just said that this writer was brought into your school.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, this was a reading book or a summer reading assignment that
Yeah.
y'all had to read.
Yeah, everybody was
So here's
required.
my question: when was the last time y'all had any type of somebody purporting Christianity come through your school?
Honestly,
like never.
I've never had it.
Okay. So, do y'all find it interesting? Well, first let me ask a question because I want to be fair. Do you feel any pressure in your walk as a Christian bringing that into the school? Is there any pressure there when it comes to the teachers or?
For me, there is no pressure. It's just once you see it, you immediately point it out. Like you can say that that's not right. I don't.
Well, I
agree
mean
with it.
I mean in the sense, do you feel pressure?
To bring it up.
And I know y'all are strong enough to not worry about it, but do y'all feel pressure? Is the tension for Christians to kind of shut up and just, you know, if you're going to be a Christian, great, but be
I
quiet
believe
about it?
so.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's like when people want to talk about, you know, other religious gods, they're like, oh yeah, but when Christians want to speak up, oh, it's like, no, you have to respect our belief, or
Yeah.
no, don't push that on me.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I want to talk about my belief. Why can't I talk about it when you're talking about it? Or like, if I would want to wear a shirt that has Jesus on it, you know, why can't I wear it? Why does somebody come up and talk to me
Are
about
you not
it?
allowed to do that?
I mean,
No,
I
we
have,
are allowed.
but
There's
people
no
have
way
came up to
around.
talk to me. I'm like, why are you wearing
It's
this
not
shirt?
exactly frowned on. It's just people will say what they want, and it's almost like they bash Christians more than they do. And I mean, if you say you're atheist, that's a belief.
Right.
And doing what you want is part of being an atheist because you don't believe in a God and you don't believe in a religion, I guess, that has structure and tells you how to live. So if you're doing what you want and if you're cursing around me, which is part of your belief,
Right.
then am I just supposed to be quiet when my belief says that cursing is not right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, so forth.
So it's okay for others to oppose your belief system. It's okay for them to not be tolerant of Christianity because Christianity isn't tolerant of them. So who wins?
Nobody wins.
Right. I guess the one who has the state funding behind them, right? I just find it very interesting and very dangerous and just very just wrong, to put in just a simple term, and just unfair that you would have someone that's teaching and essentially preaching and bringing into a school a spiritual system. One, you're forced. You're told that you need to read this book,
Yeah.
and it's not like you get a choice of spiritual, you know, background books. You're told that you need to read this. They bring the writer in to educate you about this religion. Yet again, I'm very curious as to whether they would allow a preacher from Christianity or a teacher.
I don't think they'll allow a preacher to come. I honestly do not think they would allow a preacher because immediately people feel like they're condemned or they feel convicted. Because I don't know what it is, but once people hear the word Christianity or Christian, they're like, you're gonna judge me.
Yeah,
Which it
exactly.
shouldn't be like that. It makes me mad. Like there are Christians that, you know, do judge and are very harsh, but it's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It's the way that Jesus predicted. He said, because they hated me, they're going to hate you. Don't be surprised. He said, it says somewhere else in the scripture, he's a rock of offense. When people see and hear, and they're already repelled, they're already rebellious to Christianity and to the Jesus Christ of Christianity. I think it has nothing to do really with intellectual system. It has to do with the volition, the will of man to say, I don't want to. Isn't it interesting how in the supermarket of ideas, and we were talking about this before the taping, that when it comes to Christianity, because it gives an exclusive message, which really, when you look down deep, the other religions do too, but when it's honest with who it is, Christianity. I'm not talking about the failures of the Middle Ages of the Roman Catholic Church or whatever it may be. I'm talking about Christianity as preached, as we read in the Bible. Why is it met with so much just animosity and just kind of, no, we put up that barrier. I don't want to hear it.
Because, I mean, if it wasn't the absolute, like, truth, like, we know, and of course, you know, the devil knows, that's why everybody's so opposed to it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. We talked about this before, like, that's how I feel that it's true, because if it wasn't, nobody would make such a big deal about hearing the word Jesus, because everybody hears Muhammad, everybody hears
If everybody says it's not a big deal, and you can believe what you can believe, and I can believe what I can believe, it just bothers me that the Christian message is the only one that's not allowed in that little arena of religions that's able to be discussed.
With me, I personally believe that I can't speak that everybody is closely tied with God. Like, I mean, how can you not be the ultimate master architect? You are connected to him somehow, and they know. You know, they know, and it all goes back to, like I told you, we had a discussion at school about whether or not human beings are innately born evil or good.
Right.
I don't think you're born with just evil. If you want to, you know, just go out and be destructive, but as a young child, like, you're innocent.
Right.
And people say, well, if you leave a little child in a room, or if they want what they want, if they want something, they're going to do whatever they want to or can do to get it.
Sure.
And that can be evil. But it all goes around what you consider as evil. But everybody's connected to God. I mean, once you're born, it says you're born into sin, but at the same time, you're innocent. And that's when you have to learn
what's evil, what's right.
because you don't know yet. And I guess not knowing is what makes you innocent. But yeah, I think we're all, but people know, like, it's in you. And as you grow up, you see things, and I mean, everybody's had that moment where you put your hand in the cookie jar or whatever, and mom is like, don't do it, and it plays in your head, but you want to take that next step to have your own freedom and feel like you're empowered or do what you want. So I guess it's kind of like that.
It says he set eternity in our hearts. So we're going to go ahead. That's a great session. Wonderful young ladies. Appreciate y'all's input. Lots to talk about just from this. Any one of these can lead on to a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting. And I appreciate y'all participating with me on this. And this is, again, just a test pilot. We should have this up on Facebook or YouTube.
Oh,
if you want to. Yeah, no worries. This is just going to be a pilot episode just to try this out. If you like this idea, and if you'd like to hear more about this from the teenage perspective, what they're dealing with in the junior highs, in the high schools, send me an email at travismarshall@ymail.com, or just respond on a comment to the Facebook posting that we'll put up. Thank you. Good night.